Innovation and automation are reshaping emergency preparedness and response strategies. By integrating modern solutions, emergency response agencies can streamline processes, enhance decision-making capabilities, and save lives more effectively. I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and joining us to share their insights on how his organization is harnessing AI and advanced technologies to protect lives and property in the face of natural disasters is Scott Gregory, Deputy Director of Technology at CAL FIRE. Scott, thank you so much for taking time to join us.
Thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
So as the executive responsible for IT and security operations at CAL FIRE, I'd appreciate if you could just briefly describe how you drive innovation and transformation to best prepare your organization to effectively respond and address emergency preparedness.
Great question, and a very tall order, no doubt. As you can imagine, you think about the size of the state of California. Massive population, 40+ million, and a very active environment, whether it's fire, flood, earthquake. We all have to come together as a team, and CAL FIRE has a specific piece of that, being an all hazards organization. We respond to a multitude of different emergencies, and as we do that, it requires us to be at the top of our game in terms of how we address and approach the use of technology in our response efforts. When I came into this role in 2020, summer 2020, it was evident to me that we needed to do a lot. We needed to do a lot of work. My first week there, we experienced a very significant fire siege for that summer, and it took our website down in the first week that I was there. So it required us to take a very sharp look at what our infrastructure looks like, what are our future plans, and how we do that and how we approach it. So with that event, that watershed event for me, being very new first weekend, it required me to take a broader holistic view at our technology strategy and our approach. And it launched what I think is a fairly ambitious modernization plan for CAL FIRE, taking decades of well, I would say keeping this massive aircraft carrier afloat and moving, to taking that into account, but also having a view over the horizon as to what's coming next. With that came many internal operations that have begun to be modernized, with security and cyber being at the heart of all of that. And then externally, how we respond to fires and how we work with our partners. There's been some legislation that was authored in 2021 that created a brand new office within CAL FIRE. In fact, the first of its kind in the state of California government, which is the Office of Wildfire Technology Research and Development. That organization, under my purview, under the technology division, focuses primarily on emerging technologies for the fire service, investigating items like design and engineering technologies, aeronautics, generative AI, cyber, everything that comes into play to being able to support fire suppression of the future is what this organization does. And it's a very exciting time for CAL FIRE. And we're in a very unique position. CAL FIRE is a world-renowned firefighting organization. Folks come to us for answers many times, and we need to be able to provide that. And this office and this new approach is hopefully going to be setting the standard for folks to look towards, for support, for answers, and for insight into research and different methodologies to push technology further.
That's an exciting development, and one that I'm sure a lot of people will keep their eye on. So I think we're talking to the right individual here when we want to kind of explore the idea of emerging technologies with you. And in particular, I wonder, could you share your insights on how you kind of envision this new kind of initiative that you set up, and talk about, how you see the integration of AI and other technologies folded into those efforts to protect lives and property.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's a new initiative, and it's a new endeavor, and it takes it certainly takes a different approach, not one that's traditionally found, I think, in government in general. And I'm certainly generalizing, but it's requiring us to get outside of I'd say, the constraints of how government typically operates, and to begin to look and operate more like a startup. This group, I've given the charge to operate in that manner, to where we're looking at internally our processes, changing them, making us more nimble to get to contract to procurement, but also building deeper partnerships with more non-traditional elements within the technology realm. And I'll expand on that. For us, we have typically the traditional partnerships that we'll build with academia, with nonprofits, and with industry, but certain elements of industry that are non-traditional in the fire suppression realm. Currently, we're in a partnership with Lockheed Martin. We're working very closely with them on different ways where we can adapt Department of Defense military grade technology to be able to support wildfire suppression. That's nothing new. Others have done that, but we've really, through this office, codified that in really looking to build out a stronger conversation around that kind of technology. Additionally, with tech partners like Microsoft, we work very closely with them. We test a lot of products in the field with that organization, and a multitude of others. But where it becomes non-traditional is CAL FIRE's ability and its stature, I think, in the community to be able to, let's say, influence approaches and thoughts around how investment is done in technology for fire suppression, how we partner with non-traditional elements outside of technology to be able to support some of the things that we want to do in the field, some of our goals operationally, working with demographers and social scientists and others to help us really understand what's happening on the ground. Because at the end of the day, if we go back to our mission statement and our focus, it's protecting lives, it's preserving that, preserving that legacy, preserving property, maintaining natural resources. That's not just a very straightforward approach. It takes a very holistic approach where we have to tap into multiple disciplines across the spectrum to help us achieve our objectives. With that comes naturally what you had mentioned, artificial intelligence, and it's almost I think in some of the circles that we all run in, it's almost becoming a cliche. Oh, it's AI. Oh, it's AI driven. Okay, well, AI has been around for decades. AI has, I think, been around longer than I've been alive, in a different forms, right? But where it's becoming exciting is it's becoming consumer based now. Generative AI has really opened the doors very wide to a number of things that we're beginning to get engaged in, especially around, around detection and alerting and response. We work very closely with a number of academic organizations within the state around placing remote cameras that use artificial intelligence to do detection and look at volumetrics of smoke and alerting from that. Right now, actually, as we speak, we have a mesh network of terrestrial-based sensors deployed within one of our demonstration forests within the northwestern portion of California. It's called the Jackson Demonstration Forest. That sensor network, that mesh network, sniffs the air for minute chemical signatures in the air that may pertain to smoke, that may pertain to allowing us to understand what kind of fire that is. Is it a structural fire? Is it a naturally occurring fire? And then pushing information to the cloud, analyzing it, and then dropping it down into our emergency command centers for potential deployment. These are all being tested right now, but this is something that's never really been done within CAL FIRE, I can speak of specifically. And it's very exciting to think of the opportunities that AI can bring us on the edge of the network, but literally on the edge of connectivity in the woods. We're working on a few initiatives right now where last mile connectivity and deep learning and deep analytics are actually happening on the fire line. Looking at items where we're using IoT devices and AI to measure and support the firefighter on the ground, looking at things like hydration levels, core body temperature, stress, so that we can see individually how these individuals are interacting and playing in the environment. And if they're in trouble, we can call them back. It's something that hasn't been done before, and it's very exciting. Of course, this is all in the theory / test stage of this, but it's showing a lot of promise. And to harken back to a previous comment, a lot of these different partnerships that are non-traditional are coming into play to help support that.
Sounds like a lot of innovative ideas that you're testing out there, and we'll be interested to see how those unfold. Lastly, Scott, can you share with our government community some basic best practices or lessons learned in what CAL FIRE is doing to automate and secure its technology investments to deliver critical services to constituents?
Right. Yeah. Very important stuff. For us, us in government and in California in general as a state, it's a massive target. It's a massive target for our adversaries to probe, to penetrate, to try to disrupt. CAL FIRE is no stranger to that. We have a very robust security posture and network in place to be able to support some of those activities. Things that we're doing now is focusing on technologies that give us a single pane of glass, so to speak, to be able to understand what's happening, not only in the field, but in the back office from a security perspective. Our ability to patch in near real time threats that come through, and to essentially be able to just monitor what's occurring. We have devices and technology deployed in some of the most remote places in the state, and then some of the most populous places in the state. And as you know, with that comes different levels of connectivity and some of the challenges that may come. We have to have a network that allows us, and a security approach that allows us to be able to support those different operating environments. And we've been quite successful with that. We've even brought in in very early stages, this idea of using generative AI to be able to support our response for security, being able to write narratives for policy, to write narratives of actions and interactions that help us catalog what happened and what our approach was, so we can be even faster to response and remedying this situation. Yeah, it's no, again, like I say, it's certainly no small task. There are thousands of endpoints that we manage on a daily basis, but we are thankfully able to see that all through one common operational picture. And that's, again, something we haven't been able to do. We wouldn't have been able to do that if we weren't on this ambitious path of internal modernization. That's really helped us a lot.
Well, Scott, Gregory, thank you so much for sharing some of those best practices, and as well your efforts on behalf of the state of California and its population to really battle a very challenging task across such a large state. But and also appreciate just sharing some of the ways that you're using technology and advanced emerging technologies to do that job more effectively. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.